For small to mid-sized SUVs, it's a crowded market. Crown Mitsubishi has given us the 2023 Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross LE in your Labrador Black Pearl. What sets this vehicle apart from the rivals is the fact that it's very practical, it's at a price point that everyone can afford, and it's something that you can tow. You have room for 5, you have the updated technology. This year, we're receiving all LED for the front and on the rear. Standard super all-wheel drive control, new 18-inch wheel design. The rivals start with the Mazda CX-5, your Volkswagen Tiguan, your Hyundai Tucson. But the difference between all of them in the crowded market of vehicles that I didn't even describe is the price point, the gas consumption, the everyday use. I'm Anthony from Hawkeye Rides, and I'm gonna go over all the specs and details, starting now. The new Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross changed the facial appearance back in 2022 to make it more of a modern corporate look that matches the brand. Ground clearance is the best comparing to any of the rivals, 8.5 inches in this. That is crazy because it competes in the sense of vehicles that are $40,000, $50,000, and $60,000 with your ground clearance. The 18-inch wheels, black painted alloys, the disc reading behind it at 11.6 inches, the rear 11.7 inches. You're going to receive the matte black for the fenders and on the lower sills that goes into your rear bumper. Limited edition badging up on the hood, Eclipse Cross that brushes into your signature grille with the 3-diamond badge. LED headlamps, daytime running, fog lamps, the chrome for the signature touch that just makes it more athletic style. Because you have so many amenities, it makes the competition look a little bit overpriced because of what you're getting with this model. The dynamics, 57.6, 42.4 for a weight distribution, which isn't too bad, and it puts it spot on in the segment. It's not going to be something that's super quick or athletic. You're not looking for that when you purchase this particular vehicle, but it's also not the largest vehicle. It's 175.4 length with a wheelbase at 105.1 inches. So I like the fact that we get those aerodynamic cues that brushes into the lower spoiler that's on top of the 3-diamond emblem, LED tail lamps, brake lights. Everything about this vehicle screams in the sense of you're getting a great deal. Towing 1,500 pounds. So you're pretty much spot on with the rivals, and the savings is gonna be anywhere from $10,000 to $20,000. Going inside to your cargo, it's gonna start at 23.4 cubic feet. We have a spare tire tucked underneath. There is a little bit of storage compartments right next to it. You can split fold the rear bench at a 60-40 split. That's gonna max the cargo to 50.1 cubic feet. Now I know this is not so heavy with performance. It's a smaller engine, but we still need to hear that exhaust note. The Mitsubishi Cross definitely has a style appearance that's going to stand out in the parking lot whenever you're comparing it to any of the rivals, and they back that performance with a 1.5-liter 4-cylinder turbocharged, producing 152 horsepower and 184 pound-feet of torque that's paired to a CVT transmission with an 8-speed sport mode. That's achieving 25 to 26 mpgs. That's good for a 0 to 60 around 8.6 seconds, which is pretty much almost the same speed as all of them. A quarter mile at 16.7 seconds. Yet again, you're basically in the same perimeter. Your city mpgs is going to be better than the Volkswagen, than the Mazda, in the practical use that you're getting plus the price tag. So you're getting value, you're getting good MPGs, you're right on the speed, same with everyone else. Let me know in the comments what you think about the 2023 Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross as we go into the interior, go over the tech, and take this for our test run. Entering inside the Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross, headroom is gonna start at 39.5 inches, legroom 40.9 inches. Cloth bucket front seat, 6-way manual adjustment for the driver. 4-way manual for the passenger. They're heated seats. The dashboard gets that silver that's going to encase the center cluster that goes right into the gloss for those air vents. And you get the gloss black on both sides of the air vents, paying attention to detail. And they put a nice little pattern above this 8-inch infotainment screen. It's touchscreen, we don't have navigation. You have Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, Sirius XM, streaming Bluetooth audio. Switch it to reverse and it covers up the whole screen with the lines. They do not move, but it does make it easy for your reversing. Climate control underneath it, so it makes it a little bit more sport derived. With the pocket here, you have your heated seat control, your super all-wheel drive controls, which change from snow, gravel, to normal. Cup holders, 16.9 ounce fits without any issue. I'd say maybe a 32 ounce. Elbows are going to be super sport derived. Open up inside, it's a deep storage. You have to kind of go back to get it in the seat setting. So if you're short, see what I mean? You're not going to have anything to rest your elbows. 3-spoke steering wheel, the gloss black, it's multi-function, and the gauge cluster does have a TFT display that can go through an array of information. Otherwise, the gauge cluster is full analog. The door panel gets harder materials on the top. It's going to be pretty sporty where you rest your elbows. You get the silver that's going to go right underneath the grab, and you get one touch up and down for the front windows of the gloss black and a large storage pocket. We do not have a moonroof, but the practicality is what we have. Let's see how I look in the back. In the back seats, 37.3 inches of headroom, 35.3 inches of legroom. You can fit 2 adults my dimensions without too many issues. These seats do recline, so it helps. But you have to do it like that. One disadvantage though is that seat belt for the center is right here, and it's right on my back because it's not the widest vehicle in its class. Nothing to put any elbows. You do have a 12-volt and a storage only behind the passenger seat. Door panel gets the same segment from the front to the back with the gloss black, and you get it down through here as well. It's going to be more sport derived. Only one cup holder in the storage pocket. Storage is not going to be the best for the back seat comparing it to the rivals. Let's see how I look in the center. Sitting into the center, headroom is still no issue, nor is legroom. I am sharing feet, but shoulder space, and because I have the seat reclined for the 60/40, I kind of sit like this because the way the seats are structured. But can you fit? It's doable. Not necessarily for a long journey. You would get a little tired. So there is a couple of things that Mitsubishi could do to maybe incorporate the back seat a little bit more. Putting something you can rest your elbows would definitely be a delight. More storage space is always welcome because when you're comparing it to the rivals, it will have the least in storage for the back seats. Taking the 2023 Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross out for our test run. 1.5 liter, 4-cylinder, turbocharged engine producing 152 horsepower and 184 pound-feet of torque. You have the CVT transmission, which everybody usually complains about. However, it is something that is kind of in a lot of the vehicles now. In the comparison, obviously the Volkswagen doesn't have it. The Mazda doesn't have it. The Hyundai doesn't have it. Your city MPGs is going to be better than the Mazda and the Volkswagen. Plus, this is not as long as the Volkswagen. And I do like the fact that the ground clearance is higher up because it makes it feel like it's a little bit more of an aggressive SUV, especially when you're looking through the windscreen. The way the hood proportions, it flows out like a butterfly kind of, so it makes it easier also for your front bumper so you know where it is. Blind spots, you're going to have some in the cargo. Pretty much all the cargo area where it cuts back and gives you that coupe style, that's going to be a bit of a blind spot. And here we go. For an everyday drive, I mean, I didn't floor it hardcore. I just drove it like you would normally drive it. Not a lot of road noise. The ride comfort is very comfortable. It's not gonna be athletic, so you don't feel everything. Because we don't have 20s and 22-inch wheels like everyone else is doing, I think they did a good job with the ride quality too. And the sound dampening, I mean, when you're comparing it to the rivals, this is good. The Volkswagen Tiguan is gonna be a little bit more noisy. Brakes, I mean, again, it's a practical car. I'm gonna check that turn radius at a stop point more or less. And here we go. Gonna be getting about 2 in a part lane. We're gonna give her a go. I mean, even when you push it hard, it's still pretty quiet. You don't really hear too much of a drone noise in the interior. No dual pane windows. Now, there is 3 things I like and 3 things that I dislike. Is anything more than that, I'd be buying this Mitsubishi. The 3 things that I like about the vehicle is the ride. It is very comfortable. Plus, you get that ground clearance that tackles everything that none of the rivals have. The CVT transmission, it changes and feels kind of like an 8-speed. I know it's not, but they did a pretty good job tuning that gear ratio. The second thing that I like about the vehicle is you still have a little bit of dynamics. I mean, look at that. The go to it, it does have a little bit of a pickup. I mean, it's in the 8-second margin. This is by no means a very fast car, but when you're comparing it to what it compares to, it definitely stays in its segment. The last thing that I like about the vehicle is a bit of a styling design slash aerodynamics, if you want to call it that. The spoiler that they have added to the rear, I think it looks awesome because it makes this look a lot more athletic than the numbers even project. Does it feel like it's 8 seconds and 9 seconds 0 to 60? It kind of does, but in the same category because it's so smooth, not very noisy until you get to about 2.5 RPM. That's when it starts escalating, but it doesn't go over the top. No dual pane windows. So the sound dampening is really good for the price point. 3 things that I dislike about the vehicle. Starts off in the back seat. It is the worst in class for storage in the door panel. You don't have anything to rest your elbows or an armrest in the center. Storage pockets behind the seats, only behind the passenger, which is not necessarily unheard of. That is also in some of the rivals. It's just, I would like to see maybe an additional couple areas to put some cups because it makes it a little bit tighter for a long journey. The second thing goes back to the rear where I sit in the back seats. If I'm sitting behind the driver, the seat belt for the middle seat is right on my back or my shoulder. So it's right here. And it really doesn't matter how tall you are, you're going to sit in it that way because it's a smaller SUV and it's not the widest bench. Weight distribution at 57.6, 43.4. It's not going to be the best dynamics, but for the size of the vehicle, it's actually not too bad. I wouldn't necessarily go overboard because it is a top-heavy vehicle, but to show you a little go. It feels a bit sporty and fun when you need it to be, so it can live up. But again, you're not looking for that when you buy this. You're looking for such a deal in which is what you're getting. Full LED in the front, full LED in the rear, towing still at 1,500 pounds, which you're taking care of. Standard all-wheel drive. You don't get that in the Volkswagen. You're not going to get that in the Hyundai either. In most vehicles that you would compare it to, you're not going to get it. I do like the wheel setup that's blacked out because it just makes this more sporty looking when we're comparing it to the rivals. The last thing that I dislike about the vehicle is if you're shorter than me, you're going to move this seat up and then you're going to have no area that you can rest your elbow, and I really mean elbow instead of armrest, because the cup holders are so much more in front. It's a nice job the way they did this center. It's very clean. It's not a lot going on. It's just, if you want to use this, look, you have to like look like you're going in the back seat. So it's pushed back a little bit too far, and that also takes a little bit of that leg space for that back seat. Rock and roll a little bit. We just passed one rival, Honda CR-V. Another thing to note is in the back seats, you do sit up higher and the bench is a little bit more firm. When you recline it, it becomes more comfortable and softens up quite a bit. So For an everyday used car, it ticks the box. Gas consumption, it's pretty decent. It does have a high torque output whenever you're pushing the throttle or the gas pedal at the beginning, and then it just kind of escalates and goes a little bit slower. That's why whenever you're getting up onto the interstate, the numbers are not going to project super fast. So you may have to slow down in order to do some merging. If you're in the market and you're looking at the Mazda CX-5, the ride to that is going to be a little bit more sport derived. So you're going to feel a little bit more in the drive because of the way the suspension is. You would really want to option it up to a turbo in order to get that wow factor, because it's basically the same in the sense of the numbers 0 to 60 mpgs and quarter mile as this, and this would be your better bargain deal. If you went to the turbo, you're going to spend a significant increase. Comparing it to the Volkswagen Tiguan, that one has had an increase in price, plus they did a refresh, and the interior is nice. They did a great job even on the exterior. They use the same chassis. They haven't done anything with the engine or the transmission. It's all the same. So it's really aesthetics. So paying a higher price tag, that's why I would say this is a more practical way to go. Comparing it to the Hyundai Tucson, again, a refreshed vehicle, excellent job in the styling and the quality and whatnot. But when you're looking at a deal, Mitsubishi slots in perfectly with the technology. You get MPGs better in the city. The 0 to 60 numbers are either better or right at the same. Same with the quarter mile, towing at 1,500 pounds. Dynamics isn't necessarily that bad, and it does grade with the rivals. I'd like to thank Crown Mitsubishi for giving us this 2023 Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross for our car review. If you're already a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Hawkeye community. If not, what are you waiting for? Click the next video, the subscribe button, check out the details merchandise website, and everything we do here at Hawkeye Rides.